All right, 5 minutes with Fundy, here we go. I'm gonna take some time to explain to you how pricing works. So we get asked from time to time how, we wind up with people that show up, they want to place an order and then they're surprised at how much it costs. Sometimes they're surprised high, sometimes they're surprised low, but the number wasn't what they had in their head. And so what I want to explain is kind of the factors that go into getting to some pricing. So you've got three different things. You've got the number of colors that go into the print, you've got the quantity, and then you have the product that we're putting on there. And when I say quantity, that is both the total number of products, and it is the total number of prints. So the analogy that I would use would be if, say you were a gutter company and you had somebody that was calling you from, say, 4 hours away. They call you up and they say, hey, I need you to come out here and install a piece of gutter, right? So they hire you, you go out there, you drive 4 hours, you get there, you take 15, 20 minutes to install the piece of gutter, and then you hand them this whopper of a bill because somebody's got to pay for the fuel, somebody's got to pay for that time, because you could have spent that time actually doing work locally, and 3 hours worth of time on a 3.5 hours worth of time on a job locally. It's, if you're like me, you calculate it all the same. I want to be paid the same doing the setup as the printing. They're not two separate things, it's all shop time. Maybe you do actually calculate out a different rate for drive time, but maybe you don't, and it shouldn't make that much of a difference. With respect to that, if you had a different job that was 4 hours away, but you were building a house and you were going to live on site and that sort of thing, the amount of time spent driving is going to diminish and diminish and diminish. So even if it was a 4-hour drive, but you stay there for 2 weeks, the price of the drive doesn't factor in all that much because of the scope of the whole project. So from time to time, we'll have people come in and they will order a dozen shirts. And the difference in price between a dozen shirts that is a 1-color print and a dozen shirts that are a 2-color or 3-color in 2 locations is super dramatic because of the same thing. When it comes to printing 12 shirts with 1 color of ink, we're in and out, we're done really fast. Setup might be as little as 15 minutes getting the screen prepped, and we're talking 2 minutes of press time because we're just cycling around on the press twice because the press holds 10 shirts, and then we're done. Versus if you went with 3 colors, now you're looking at 45 minutes in setup. When you get on press, we've got to line these things up, and that's going to take a few minutes to do as well. We're going to have to, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it that you don't see that's all behind the scenes, but it's all got to be factored in because I'm paying the wages of people that are doing the work, and what they do has to be profitable. So with that, the difference between somebody that's ordering 12 shirts and somebody that's ordering 48 or 108 or 200 or 1,000, the pricing starts really high at 12 pieces and it drops off super dramatic, and then somewhere in the neighborhood of 300-400 it flattens out, and the difference between 400 pieces and 1,000 pieces turns into being just pennies per unit. It's not that big of a deal, it's not that much, because the setup has become less and less and less of the total time spent on the job. So if I wind up with a job that is a single color print front and back, and I have a company come through and they place an order for 2,000 pieces, that 15 minutes is not that much of the 2 or 3 day print run that we're going to do. Okay, so it doesn't take that. It becomes less and less of something that gets spread out over the job. With respect to, so that explains why the quantity matters, and that explains why the number of colors matter. The apparel cost also dramatically affects it. You know, the difference between a t-shirt and a hoodie are quite a bit different. So when they cost in the most general sense about $7 a piece different, that's going to dramatically affect the price. So if you order 12 hoodies, one of the things that we do where we do try to simplify things is our pricing structure is set up where we tell you how much the unit cost is, and we never say, hey, this is how much the setup is, this is how much it costs for, like, we never break it out, because over the years we've discovered that if we break it out, what people do is start doing math in their head, and what they really want to know is how much it's going to cost per shirt or per hoodie. Now, if you order 50 hoodies and 50 t-shirts, for example, the way that our calculator works is if you say, I want 50 and 50, and then you come back and you say, hey, you know what, actually, I want to add another 50 to the t-shirts, and so now you got 50 hoodies and 100 t-shirts. Because of the way that our pricing schedule works, where we take the total number of prints, divide it over the whole job, when you up your number of t-shirts, it affects the pricing on the hoodies as well, because it reduces the pricing on the labor for the hoodies. So another question that we get asked is, where's the next price break? It's at the next piece. The way that our calculator works is, it used to be that that people would order in increments of 12, because of the way that their pricing schedule is laid out. It looked like an old-fashioned times tables that maybe you had in elementary school, because doing the math over and over and over again wasn't super easy, and you'd have to go break out how long does it take to do this, what's the, you know, and so it was easier for them to say, hey, every 12 pieces the pricing changes like this, every 12 pieces it changes like this, every, you know, and they had these multiplication looking tables, and all we do is we have a spreadsheet that does all the math for us. How long does it take to do it? What's the hourly rate? What's, you know, all of these things, and it divides it by the total quantity of products and spits out a price. So that is how pricing works. That's how we do our pricing. So where's the next price break? It's at one more. And if you go from 12 shirts to 13 shirts, it adjusts the pricing quite a bit. If you go from 12 shirts to 24 shirts, it adjusts it a lot. If you go from 400 shirts to 412 shirts, it doesn't really adjust it very much. But because you don't have that much setup to spread out anymore, and so that is why the pricing drops really dramatically, and then it flattens out. So it's not even a straight line, it's an arc that comes out and smooths out, because that labor part gets smaller and smaller and smaller at a disproportionate rate of the increase. So hopefully that was clear and not super confusing. If you got any questions, let me know, because I would like to make it so that these videos serve better and they explain things better. And so that's it. I think that was more like 10 minutes with Fundy instead of 5, but I think it's better that I give you the information that you need rather than trying to hold to 5. I will catch you later. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.